Hi, this is Annette, and today I'm going to teach you how to make a book pumpkin from a recycled book. And I'm going to tell you what supplies you'll need to do this. First, you'll need an old paperback book. You can use a hardcover book. It's a little bit harder to work with, but it is possible. So either paperback or hardcover book. You'll need paper and pencil, sharp scissors or an X-Acto knife, hot glue gun and glue sticks. You once again can use regular glue, but I think it works best with the hot glue gun. Orange paint, which is optional. You don't have to paint your pumpkin, but it does make it look a little bit more like a pumpkin. A stick for a stem, and I just went out into my backyard and got some sticks. Ribbon, and another optional ingredient you can have is a green pipe cleaner to make the pumpkin vines. Okay, first we're going to take a piece of paper and a pencil, and you're going to make half a simple pumpkin drawing. I use the book because it's easier to see how big your pattern has to be. And it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You're just going to take your book, and like I said, that way you know how big to make it. And you're going to round it at the top, but at the bottom I found it helps to make it flat so that the pumpkin sits better. So trial and error, that showed that that was better. So I'm just going to, like I said, use my book as a guide. And make that. Then I'm going to cut my pattern out. And once again, this isn't an exact science. It's just a guide for you. So like I said, I have a flat bottom here and just the rounded top of my pumpkin. Next, you're going to take your book and you're going to rip off the cover. Both sides. If you're using a hardcover book, you'll probably need an X-Acto knife to rip that off because won't be able to pull it off as easily. I'm just going to. And this is another little thing I did with my pumpkins when I was trying to work with them. I used the paper pattern that I made and used the cover to kind of make a stronger pattern. It was just easy because after you're cutting for a while, it gets kind of harder to work with, and this is a stronger material for your pattern. You're then going to take your pattern and trace it on your book. So I just match it with the binding and trace it on the book. You're going to have to repeat this step a number of times because it's easier to just work with a couple of pages at a time. It gets too hard to cut through if you're trying to. So then I just take this . And once again, you can do this with an X-Acto knife also. You're just going to put that aside. And once again, you're going to retrace it. And work with, like I said, I take a stack of them. You'll know when it gets too hard for you to cut through that you've grabbed too many pages. And you're going to do this repeatedly until you get through the whole book. Okay, now I'm going to take the book. This is one that I've cut all the pages, as you can see. It's all cut. And we're going to paint it. Once again, I've seen these that look very cute without being painted, but I'm going to show you a painted one. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some paint, some orange paint. I guess you could do different colors if you wanted. Just going to add. And I add a little bit of water to these, kind of mix it around so it's not as thick. And you're just going to paint the entire binding of the book. And this doesn't have to be exact. They look really cute when there's just a hint of color. I've seen some that somebody just obviously just put a little bit of paint on. I've seen them where they have thicker paint, but it's just to give the book some color. And you're going to be working your way all around the outside of the book. You're not going to do the ends because you're going to glue that, so you don't need to. And there we have the entire binding done. You have to let that dry. I have one that I did, so I'm going to put this aside. And this is already dried. It'll be easier for me to work with. So this is your dried book. Next, you're going to take your glue and glue the spine together with a stick for your stem. If you have a big, thick book, you can wrap it around and possibly just pop the stick in the middle. My book isn't that big, so what I'm going to do is I kind of work the spine a little bit so that it starts to bend. And I'm going to take my hot glue gun, put some glue in the middle here for the stick. And there's really no right or wrong way to do this. You can press that in, make sure it sticks. And then you're going to fold some of these pages over and glue to kind of start to make your pumpkin shape like that. And you're just going to glue these together. So I'm going to take and I'm going to glue this together. If you think you want to add some more glue in the middle there to kind of grab it. And next you're going to take this and you're going to glue every third or fourth page. The one I had done, I just kind of counted 3 or 4 pages together. So you just do 1, 2, 3. Keep the glue by the binding. You want to get as close as you can to this. Work your way down the binding. And you're going to press that together. And once again, I do 1, 2, 3. You could do 4. Like I said, I kind of did different amounts. You're just trying to get it to stay together so that it starts to form the shape of a pumpkin, a rounded shape, because you want this to be more three-dimensional. Let's get 1, 2, 3. Gonna clear this down. And there you go. And you're going to work your way around the entire pumpkin this way until you get to the end. Now that you have all the pages glued together and you have a pumpkin shape, you can decorate the top with ribbon if you want. You can curl pipe cleaners around to make them look like vines. So I'm going to show you how to do that. First, you take your pipe cleaner and you're just going to roll it around a pencil for a little bit so that you have like a curly Q. And then on the other side, same thing. And then you can just kind of wrap that around. You can use more than one if you want to make it look fuller. And then I'm going to take some ribbon. I have green ribbon here, and I'm just going to tie it around the top. It's going to make a square knot. And you can either leave that like that, or you can cut the edges a little bit if you want it a little bit shorter. I think I want. There you go. And obviously this doesn't match as well, but if you have, you can match that. You don't have to match it. I've also seen ones where they've taken moss or some kind of fake leaves, or you can even make construction paper leaves on a wire and tie it around, and those turned out really cute. The other thing I saw somebody do was to take green crinkle paper and glue it around the top, which gave it kind of a nice festive look. So there we have your pumpkin.